Alright, so we back inside the world or whatever, showcasing a couple things that I just finished building. It's the main thing that I was trying to build right here. It's called, this is uh, a solid blast furnace. I had all the steel and all of that and all the components, all the various components sitting inside a barrel over there. Same thing, this the large farm controller, and that's the large barrel controller. These multi blocks right here, both of these I already had these prepared and set up from earlier quest line. I needed to complete a task in the quest line, so that was all down here. And then the steel one was over here. This is what I needed to actually complete this chapter. I'm basically 100% complete with this chapter, except for this right here, the diesel engine and diesel generators. The reason why I'm not doing this is because I've made ethanol and biodiesel and all of that in years past or whatever. Playing the game, playing modded, and this process is never really an easy process because you have to basically automate your crops. That's what this is for, but it's gonna take a lot more components in order to fully automate this, and this is nowhere near big enough in order to make the necessary crops to make all the different plant-based fuels and all that, and the alcohol and all that, ethanol and all that. So I'm not even gonna go through that, and that's an optional quest anyway. Um, Next thing I did was two things. Made this backpack right here because I wanted a backpack. This wasn't an easy process to do. Recipe requires leather. I couldn't find a way to make white dye because I couldn't find any bones. I don't have a mob farm or anything like that. So I eventually found like one random bone that was hanging around in my storage system or whatever. And I took that and I ran it through a millstone. And got bone meal and white dye out of it. The leather was a little bit more complicated, a little bit more processing, a little bit more involved. If I can find a recipe for it in here. Obviously, you can get it from cows and all that and everything else, but I couldn't get it. I don't have any cows. That's the reason why I made those two strips of grass blocks underneath the main platform on the secondary platform or whatever. But it still didn't give me any cows. I got one pig out of that, and that's basically it. So this is the recipe that I went with smoked mycelium. The way you have to get this is mycelium growths, and you get this from basically what's the name of mud, running mud through through a sift. So this is how I got that. Got the mycelium spores. You gotta run it through the barrel, barrel soaking, or barrel composting, or whatever you want, but it's really just barrel soaking or whatever. With the witch water. I already have this set up from prior operation, and that's how I got the what's the names. I'm missing something. No, right here. I ran it through the barrel first, and I basically misunderstood the recipe because you need the multi block. That multi block that I just finished showcasing right down here, the third one. So you put the mycelial spores in here, and you get mycelial growth out of that. You take the mycelial growth. You take the mycelial growth, and then you press it into a plate basically, and it's gonna get compressed mycelium. Then you smoke that or cook it. I got campfire with a fan set up already. So I smoked it and then press it again, and then you get leather out of that, and that's how I got the leather that I needed to make the backpack. And I believe you need you three pieces of leather. I have four because I was gonna make another backpack, but it turns out I didn't have the wool. I don't have enough wool to do it. because I obviously don't have any sheep. Those are the grass strips that I was talking about. So this was easy to set up because I basically had all of this. This is the hardest thing to get because I had to grind to get all the steel for that. But this is gonna allow me to make steel a lot faster. That's what this is for. This allows me to grow crops faster. Has barrel transforming and composting and soaking recipes, and this allows me to make steel faster. This is what I really needed to progress, because the way that I'm making steel, showcase real quick, that right there, well, it's a multi-block that's right next to it. I'll talk about this in a minute. So this is how I'm making steel right here. It's a primitive blast furnace, extremely slow. It's working, but you can see it. The arrow is moving, but it's moving extremely slow. So this is how long that I had to wait to get all the steel required to make that down there. Like I said, you see it going up, but it takes forever, yo. I swear to God. That's how it usually goes in packs anyway when you progressing up. You know, any kind of tier-based technology mod or whatever. Anyway, so this right here is from a add-on mod to create, called Create New Age or whatever. It just, like most of the add-on mods for Create, basically just add new components to the base Create mod. So this is one of them. And this adds a generator coil, adds these magnetite blocks. These magnetite blocks was like the most complicated thing to make. The generator coils just blocks of andesite alloy and with copper ingots surrounding it. You know what I'm saying? Which is easier than the normal recipe. The normal recipe for this, I forgot what it is, but it's much more complicated than that. So I got tons of copper on standby, like 100,000 copper ingots on standby. So that's not a problem. I got plenty of andesite alloy, not a problem. So the way that this works is that you have to send rotational power. I have a windmill obviously set up. Send rotational power into the back of this. You know, I have a speed controller in order to speed it up, so it spins a little bit faster into the back of this or whatever, so it rotates. And then you have the magnetite blocks around it, which basically represents a magnet. And the more you spin this, it's basically based on the principle in real life. It generates electricity basically. So the electricity gets stored into these carbon brushes right here, and then I have these electrical connectors that I made connecting to it, and obviously copper wire that's connecting to it. The copper wire is just nothing but copper sheets. You run it over a saw, and you split it down into wires or whatever. And it's going to this energy converter. This energy converter is converting EU into FE, and I'll explain what that means in a minute. So this generator coil is producing EU, which is energy units, which is the power measurement from IC2. IC2 is industrial craft 2. That's basically the original power measurement and the original technology mod from back in the day, way back in the day. It's the first mod that I learned technology mods on, basically. That's what basically started tech mods in general, just in the modded space for MC or whatever. That's what's basically started it. Was the first industrial craft. I learned industrial craft too. So it's industrial craft 2. Buildcraft was another tech mod that was real big back in the day, and Red Power, which basically extended redstone functionality. Those were the three big mods back in the day. And I learned all of those with the exception of Red Power, because I didn't fully understand redstone like that when I first learned those tech mods. But anyway, EU was the original measurement for power, and then later on came RF, which is, well, I was more familiar with that. RF is redstone flux, and that was real popular in the 1.17 days, 1710 and 164 and all of those. That was real, the whole era basically. And then it turned into FE. That's more modern Minecraft. That's more modern Minecraft power system. FE is flux energy. So that's what everybody basically uses now. They've been using it for years basically. There's other power measurements, but that's the most what's the name. So this converter right here converts EU to FE. Now, mind you, each one of those power measurements don't always play nice with each other. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, and I just found this out recently, that one EU is equal to 4 RF. So and RF is equal to FE. It's basically the same thing. So if you use to a RF or whatever, it's gonna be 4 times that coming from an EU. But anyway, so this produces EU. So you run it through a converter. The converter converts it to FE, and then this energy cable. I just finished making this. So this energy cable is running to the Tinker's workbench, which powers the Tinker's workbench and puts power into here. And the reason why I'm doing that is for this gadget right here. This gadget is from Builder's Gadgets. This is Direwolf 20 mod that Direwolf 20 basically created this mod. I made this in the beginning, early in the beginning. This exchanging gadget is a gadget that's used to exchange blocks out. So if I have blocks in my offhand, um, like say if I have slabs in my offhand, a different slab or whatever, I can exchange it with these slab right here on the floor or any one of these slabs. I can exchange it out and without breaking these blocks, and they'll just exchange it out. And that's the way to actually start building your base and doing the aesthetic element of your base or whatever. So that's I wanted to do that in the beginning, so that's the reason why I made that. Um, I forgot where I was even going to. Something else I was doing down here that I wanted to showcase down here. Let me talk about this real quick. I ended up getting this from one of the quest lines or whatever. I had to make this fluid cells or whatever from thermal series. You know what I'm saying? This is a new item to me because like if you play tech mods, everybody knows thermal expansion. It's just like it's something everybody knows about. Uh, Obviously I'm African American, so when it comes to hip hop or whatever, you know what I'm saying. The most default person that represents what that is DJ Premier, and basically fluid cells are like a DJ Premier beat. Honestly, you know what I'm saying. Everybody knows about it. It's the same thing. Thermal expansion, everybody knows about it. If you play tech mods, you know about thermal expansion. Fluid cells are a new block that I haven't seen before. This has to be in the newer versions or whatever. But it basically functions as the same thing as the energy cells or whatever from back in the day or whatever. It just stores fluids, and gas is a fluid. And I know Greg Tech deals with gases and chemicals and all that. So that's the reason why they wanted you to make this. You know what I'm saying? So it's something to use for the future. I'm not using it right now. I'm just leaving it out here on the base so I know it's right here. Got lights obviously on it, so nothing spawns over here. Whatever, let me check this. Getting a little bit of gold. I gotta put some more charcoal on there. Oh, the other thing is I switched out my F4 mod. So now I have the free cam mod that most people traditionally use. And the way you know that is that the movement is real janky. You know what I'm saying? Real erratic. And you can see your character model. So this is real quick. This is good to assess any kind of issues or whatever that you have with your contraptions and your machinations that you build or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And you can fly around and see what's going on with your base easily. You know what I'm saying? The other one I didn't remove it. You know what I'm saying? But I did disable the keybind for it. So normally the keybind is F4. So that's what I got for it. And that's basically it. Nothing else really to report besides that. The 3 different multi-blocks. You know what I'm saying? Greg Tech is really about building a lot of different multi-blocks. You know what I'm saying? And just building your way through the tiers or whatever. I'm still technically in the Steam age, but I'm like in the transitionary period. Because I'm already making LV circuits, which is low voltage circuits. I'm already making those circuits. You can't really make those in the Steam age like that. You know what I'm saying? That's really on your way out. So I'm already making those circuits, already producing still. Technically not in the Steam age, but still doing Steam age type things. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I have nothing that's actual bronze or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I have I have no bronze components. Not really making anything that's bronze. Not making the pipes, anything like that. Anything that has to do with the steam age. But I'm still technically in the steam age. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to progression. But I'm about to be out of that. You know what I'm saying? Really trying to get up to where I was before. Farthest ever gotten really realistically is MV. You know what I'm saying? I played GTNH 3 times in my lifetime. And the last time I stopped, I was doing fine. No issues. Not really getting lost. I already knew, well versed as far as playing with mods and playing with different types of mods. You know what I'm saying? Well versed basically with everything. If I don't know about it, if I don't know about it, means I haven't really used it. Most mods or whatever, at least gotten. If I haven't really used it, I've gotten through the early game of it. You know what I'm saying? That's usually mostly magic mods because I don't really like magic mods like that, with the exception of Britannia. Um, a few other ones I respect. I respect Ars Nouveau. I respect Thaumcraft and stuff like that. Thaumcraft is like a love hate thing. You know what I'm saying? Because of the research and all of that. But anyway, I never really gotten super far into Thaumcraft. I had to deal with the flux and all of that. Anyway, besides all of that, uh, I forgot what I was even talking about. I forgot what I was even talking about. Anyway, yeah, so just I got the multi blocks done. Got producing still a little bit faster, and that's about it. You know what I'm saying? The first chapter is done. I'm into the Industrial Revolution now, so now it's gonna be making circuits on a regular basis. I still have a few circuits left, but this is something I definitely have to automate. You know what I'm saying? Everything I did from New Age is right down here. It's all the optional quests. I already did all of that though. I made this, did that. Didn't make the Energizer yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna break down what I did, so I'm gonna just do the thing to actually skip the quest. I forgot how you do that. But you can make it so it's quest completed, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm about to do that. Forgot about the super chest right here. Forgot about this. This is a good what's your name? It holds massive amounts of items. Yeah, I definitely need one. Definitely need one of those. I can break down my storage and start putting cobblestone and all of that stuff in there. Yeah, but that's where I'm at. I'm in the next chapter. Just started the next chapter right here. I need to automate that though, and a lot of other stuff that I have set up. I have already made this basic extruder or whatever, and this is gonna give me when you put all these different molds in here, you'll be able to make all the basic stuff, the plates and the rods and the different nuts and bolts and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That's all the basic stuff that you're gonna need for everything else. You know what I'm saying? Um, Making circuits is a little bit more complicated. You know what I'm saying? Because you need to make diodes and everything else, but it's still automatable. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's gonna be necessarily automatable for me right now, but I'm gonna try to find a workaround. I always try to find a workaround for stuff. You know what I'm saying? If I can't do it that way, then I'm gonna use Create to do it. Create can only do so much though, as far as automating different components from this mod. Because when it comes to Greg Tech, the reason why is because of all the different tools. Uh, Showcase that real quick. Yeah, so all you have different tools, pipe wrenches, iron files, saws, the mortar, the wire cutter, the screwdriver, and there's a hammer around here as well, and there's a soft mallet, and there's something else that you need. Uh, Most of the recipes require those tools, and then those tools take durability damage or whatever when you use them. You know what I'm saying? So it's not it's hard to really to automate anything, any kind of recipes, unless you make the Greg Tech machines that allow you to make the plates and all the stuff that you would normally make with the tools. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the whistle name comes in. So there will be no way to automate it with Create. You know what I'm saying? Unless you had a million deployers and a million tools, but still you'll still be replacing all the tools. It doesn't even make sense to do it that way. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's another conversation for another day.